Good morning, traders. Manny Cabrera here from MDC Trading Academy with today's pre-market forecast for Wednesday, November the 3rd. Let's quickly jump to our news items for this day as we begin the week with this Wednesday with 10 a.m. ISM Services PMI. But the most important piece of information we have is 2 p.m. our FOMC statement, federal funds rate, and of course the 2:30 FOMC press conference. Markets tend to act a little weird during these days. Be careful. Markets tend to go flat. If something doesn't happen immediately early in the morning, first hour or two, normally the market seems to move sideways, waiting for some sort of stimulus from any morsel of information that may come from this statement. Remember, everything is very sensitive. The market is right now trying to digest a lot of information, economic information, supply line disruptions, labor shortages, still the COVID scare, inflation threats. So as you can see in the market, it's reflecting that pretty well. In spite of the rally, the market is being very cautious as we reach, again, all-time highs. We find ourselves pretty much compressed between these two main areas here, the intraday high and this previous all-time high resistance, all-time high support, and this is where we find ourselves. Relatively lower volume. We normally like to see at least 1.1 million, so have some good ranges of movement. ATR continues to get lower and lower, which means that the ranges are getting smaller and smaller. What does that mean to us? Let's look at another time frame so we can probably give this a more clear vision here. Here's your all-time high. Here's what we're moving through right now between the area 45.91 through the all-time high. This is our support and resistance area, key support and resistance areas. The market can move higher. It's been doing it very gradually, but it hasn't had any significant retracement. So any move to the downside would probably be a pretty decent one, and we're expecting it to come and retest this area here. We also have this trend line here, which is giving us a ascending triangle, which is giving us the expectation of continuation. But this is our north-south line here, a combination of this trend line here and this previous resistance turn support. That's where, like I marked here, the key support area. That's why we're seeing kind of like this sideways market with a slight tendency to move a little higher. Let's look a little bit more behind these numbers as we look at our analysis chart, the one that's closer to home, so we can start looking at what we're thinking about doing this morning. Well, here, once again, this is the intraday high from yesterday, the intraday low of yesterday. Very clear consolidation here, but we have a little bit of a mixed signal here. We do have the market with this trend line kind of pushing prices to the downside at the more immediate time frame, clearly having an issue with this resistance area, potentially trying to retest this particular pivot low here. Now, even if the market gets down to that particular level, unless it breaks it with a lot of strength, in spite of the fact that we have this triangle, through this triangle, it has to break it with a lot of strength to the downside. If this holds, the oscillation scenario that we were kind of talking about can come to fruition. Now, remember, on low volumes, nothing happens quickly. On top of that, we have a FOMC announcement. So these are the kind of days you just have to be very patient, very careful, place your stops first, and hold on for dear life. Take care and let me know if you have any questions.